Okay, everybody, so conference number 3 for today was Ubisoft. So this is my live stream slash recap video slash my reactions to the Ubisoft press conference and everything that they had to offer this year at E3. So I've got my list going. Let's go ahead and jump right into it because we've got more press conferences on the way today, so we got to get this done. So first of all, the Ubisoft press conference opens very oddly. It's not like there's an announcement, oh, it's starting. It's just Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains walks out on stage and starts playing guitar. And you're like, okay, well, if Jerry Cantrell is going to be out here playing guitar, you know this has something to do with the game. It's probably going to be Rocksmith. It absolutely did become Rocksmith. He plays the guitar, and then he basically uses the Microsoft Kinect to navigate through the menu of Rocksmith and to actually open up a simulation band. So he was playing by himself on the stage, and all of a sudden a simulated band appeared and started playing with him through Rocksmith. So I guess this is one of the new features of the new Rocksmith. I personally don't know too much about Rocksmith. I never played it, and obviously I don't have any musical talent with instruments, so it's not like I would understand how to play it anyway. But the people who have played it say the game is actually really good. So this is just the new iteration, and they're showing you it has new Kinect functionality, and the virtual band is probably the new thing that they added to it this time. So, pretty interesting. Alright, so up next, the host of the show actually did walk out, and it was once again Aisha Tyler for the second year in a row. Now, if you're not familiar with her, she is an actress. She's a voice actor in many different things, most notably Archer, the TV series. And she actually was the host of last year's Ubisoft conference. And so a lot of people were wondering, uh-oh, does this mean that Tobuscus is back? Because Toby Turner was there last year as the comic relief. He did a horrible job and basically ruined the whole press conference. This year, Ubisoft said, fuck that, we don't want that dickhead back, and so he was not at the Ubisoft press conference. Thank God he didn't fucking ruin it for us. Alright, so, the next game that was presented was Splinter Cell Blacklist. Now, you're like, okay, Splinter Cell Blacklist, this is good. This is actually coming out relatively soon. It's coming out in August of this year, and so people are like, okay, this is great. Are we going to see new gameplay? Are we going to see anything? No, all you're going to see is a camera panning back and forth and back and forth across the stage, which is showing a trailer for the game, but not really any gameplay whatsoever. Just talking. Oh, we gotta get this guy, gotta get to the target, gotta get this guy, gotta get to the target, blah, blah, blah. It was stupid as hell. It was a complete waste of time. It didn't even showcase the game in any way, shape, or form. To which you're like, why the fuck did they even bother with that when it didn't explain anything about the game? Now, if anything, I think it showed that the multiplayer mode is returning in the game, which is fine, but everyone already knew that. So I don't understand what the purpose of this promo was. You're not showing any gameplay. You're not showing any features of anything out of your game. Why did you even fucking show it? You could have, you know what I mean? Like, just fucking have a poster for it and focus on other games. So I was really disappointed with that. I was like, I don't understand why the hell are is this game not being shown? Why aren't you showing us what we're going to be doing in 2 months when we play the game? I don't know. It made no sense. And whoever did that said, oh, instead of doing direct feed of the TV screen so we can show gameplay, we're just going to pan across and show a trailer. There's only one thing I have to say to you, you stupid-ass director. You're an idiot, and
You blew it!
Alright, so on to the next one. The next game that was presented was Rayman Legends. Now, Rayman Legends, we've already knew about for so long. This game was supposed to come out on the Wii U back in February, but then they decided to delay it so long just so that they could make it cross-platform. The game's now cross-platform and is coming out on September 3rd. And really, they didn't really show anything new. What you saw in the trailer was pretty much the same gameplay that you've seen before. If you've played the demo of the game, you've already played this game. So, really, there was nothing there to show. So, again, another game that's coming out relatively soon, really nothing new shown, so I don't understand what the hell, like, I guess they just had to mention these games because they want people to buy them and not just focus on next gen. I guess that's why they had to show them at this conference, but again, nothing really interesting or groundbreaking here. We've known about the game for how damn long already. Alright, so the first new game to finally be presented was a game called Mighty Quest for Epic Loot, which is a free-to-play game. I guess what it's supposed to be is you have a castle that is your home, and you have to go to other castles and raid them and steal the other people's loot and then hoard it in your castle and defend your castle from other people who are trying to steal your loot. but it really was like, they played this trailer of this guy supposed to be a knight, like one of the characters in the game, and he's trying to be funny, but it's just like so forced, and I didn't find it funny in the least. So for me, it's like, wow, this is like them trying to almost impersonate one of those DreamWorks films where it's like really poignant, interesting comedy, but it's not. It's like overused, forced, very forced. There's one point where the guy is like swearing, but they bleep it, and he does it for like 20 seconds, and you're like, that's like, it would have been funny if he did it for 2 seconds, not for 20. It's just so overblown. Didn't like it at all, and it really, honestly, didn't promote the game because they showed very little gameplay. They showed a little snippet of gameplay before they ran this trailer, and I really don't even know what the game is like. I don't. Like, the trailer didn't do the game justice. I don't even know what the game's going to be like. Interesting premise. I don't know what the game is, so, you know, here was their opportunity to present a game, and really I think they did a poor job of it. So, I don't know. I was disappointed with the presentation of that. The next game that they showed was South Park, The Stick of Truth. They ran very little of it. It was maybe a few snippets of the game itself. I guess they don't want to really spoil too much about it. But basically they said it's coming out Holiday 2013. So finally the game gets a release date. It's a new publisher, by the way. And it gets a new release date. So this is going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a fan of South Park. I haven't watched it in years, but I used to be a fan of South Park. And I know that if this game captures the spirit of the actual TV show, that it's probably going to be really good. And from all reports, the game is pretty entertaining. So hopefully that'll actually come out in the holiday and doesn't get delayed, but it sounds good to me. Okay. Alright, the next game is a new game. They just announced it here at E3 at this press conference. It's called The Crew. Okay? And you're like, I wonder what this could be. Well, it's a racing game. First of all, they do this really long, overblown CGI trailer, which you're like, it's a racing game. I don't want to see CGI for a racing game. I want to see gameplay to see what sets your game apart from everything else. But this trailer, it goes on and on and on, and you're like, just fucking end it. And then finally, thank God they do, and they show an extended segment of gameplay. Now, apparently the way that this game works is that it has online capability just like the Need for Speed game that EA had presented, but it's a little different. Unlike the EA game where it's drop in, drop out in certain portions of the game with other people online, in this game, you're always connected. Like, if you're in the United States or whatever on a certain server, there's going to be, say, you know, people playing, and, you know, if you can form parties, you can now do interactive stuff. So let's say myself and 4 other people that I know were playing the game at once. I could be in Nevada doing a race while he's in New York doing a race, but then we could actually go to our friends list and invite each other to do cooperative races all in one area together if we wanted to, but you don't have to do it. So it's kind of interesting if a premise, if you know a lot of people who are playing the game, that could be a really neat feature. And then they do this really long extended race where it's a cooperative race. They're trying to hunt down someone and stop them. So they show off the game. Honestly, I don't know what makes this game different from other racing games. Like, I'll be honest, like, it kind of was the same as every other racing game that I've seen. They didn't really do a good job of showing what makes it unique. But then Aisha Tyler walks up, and what does she have with her? Just take a wild fucking guess out of all the stuff that's happened at the press conferences today. What was the common bullshit theme? She's got a motherfucking smart glass. And what does she do? Oh, while you were doing that demo of the game, I was customizing my car on my smart glass. I'm like, oh my God, what? They're going to stop pushing this fucking smart glass, but they did it, doing it again. More fucking smart glass. I can't take it. Alright, so that's the Crew. They didn't say when it was coming out, though. And that was a little bit of an annoyance, because, you know, okay, it's a great new game for next-gen consoles. It's going to be a launch title, and they didn't mention. I don't know. Watch Dogs, once again, had another exclusive trailer. Unfortunately, this one featured no in-game gameplay at all. It was all pre-rendered, but it shows you the premise. Basically, that the game is going to be an anti-hero kind of a deal. A guy who uses technology around him to break into and enter and go wherever the hell he wants, and to send a message. So in this particular case, he's hunting down a guy who's wanted for human trafficking. And he follows him into like some exclusive nightclub, into a security area, using technology to disable locks and stuff. Finally gets in, uses hand-to-hand combat to take out a bunch of the guards and people inside, and then to send a message to the guy. He shoots him in the knee, leaves, but also the police show up, and they find out that this guy is known or wanted for human trafficking, and he gets arrested. So basically he breaks the law and violates privacy and uses technology to get shit to happen and get his guy either caught or to do whatever end he needs to. He's a vigilante. And I really like that premise. It really did flesh a little bit more out of the plot of the game of what it's going to be. But I was very disappointed that there was no live gameplay. Now, I'm not at E3, so maybe they have it on demo, and that's fine if that's the case, but I would have liked to see more gameplay and not just a CGI trailer. However, one notable thing about the trailer is that when this human trafficker is walking through this nightclub, it's basically a bunch of naked women who are having body sushi eating off of them, to which people started calling it, this isn't Ubisoft, this is the Boobisoft conference, because the women were naked. I think that was the first time that was something that risque at an E3 press conference, okay? Then they showed off Just Dance 2014, a bunch of idiots dancing around in front of their TVs. They mentioned it has all the great shitty music that you hate and gets played nonstop on the radio and you hear on TV. You get to play it in Just Dance now. And it's so funny because the trailer that they play for the fucking thing shows people with insanely large living rooms, and it's like 14 people all fucking dancing in the living room at once. It's like, number one, who the fuck has that much space in their living room? And number two, who the fuck invites 14 friends over to dance in front of the TV like a fucking asshole? I'm sure your neighbors would love it when 14 people are up here doing fucking river dance on the floor like this, and the whole fucking building is shaking. I'm sure they love that, right? So it's so fucking stupid. It's just that the whole premise of Just Dance is so dumb to begin with. But then to show, oh, look at this, like, this is how people play it. No, that's not how fucking people play the game. People have normal living rooms. They have normal space to do shit, and that's what they do it in. So it was just really preposterous what they showed there in the trailer. It was really dumb. All right, and the next thing was even dumber. You remember Raving Rabbids, right? Well, the Raving Rabbids are getting their own TV show. That's right, they're getting a TV show before Rayman, which is the source material of them. And it's going to be an interactive TV show on Xbox One using the Kinect. No one gives a flaming fuck, because no one cares about that. They're here to learn about Ubisoft games, not a fucking TV show, but they pushed it at the conference. So they showed it, and all it really is, it's a non-moving TV show. It's not even really interactive. All it is there's like little icons and shit going over what you're seeing on the video, and your kids can dick around with the Kinect. Oh, throw rotten eggs and hit the rabbit. Oh, it's a draw, hit the rabbit. It's so stupid, and it's probably nothing that anyone who's older than 5 years old is going to even enjoy. I actually literally said this during the stream, on my stream chat. I said, the same people whose audience the Raving Rabbids are the people who fucking watch Fred on YouTube, and that's the only people who are going to watch it. And incidentally, as I said that, they announced that this show, this Rabbids TV show, is going to be on Nickelodeon, the same channel that Fred's TV show is on. So I was 1,000% correct. It is the same fucking audience, which is pretty funny. Okay. So up next, then they showed a new trailer for Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. And I hate to say this, but every time that I see more about this game, the less interested I am about it. I mean, it looks like Assassin's Creed on a boat. It's going to have the same sailing mechanics as Assassin's Creed 3. It really didn't interest me because they also didn't show any gameplay. They say, oh, we're going to show you things rendered in the in-game engine. And then they proceed to show you all cinematics and shit and no real gameplay of the game. More than likely because it probably plays exactly like the other Assassin's Creed games with a few tweaks. So, I really don't have much to say about Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. First of all, it's a prequel, which I don't like. I hate prequels. I like to know what's going to happen in the future, not in the past. And in this case, we already know what happened with Connor, who's the grandson of the main character of this game. So I don't care what happened to his grandfather. And I don't know. Like, having one Assassin's Creed game a year, I really do feel is too much. I think it should be every couple of years. I think we're getting overloaded right now. We just played Assassin's Creed 3. The game kind of had some critical criticism there. And if you already have another dev team that's working on the next game parallel to this one, how can you listen to the criticism of people and then improve your game? The answer is you can't. This game was already in development before Assassin's Creed 3 came out, so when Assassin's Creed 3 came out and people said, oh, I didn't like this, none of that feedback can be implemented in 4, because it's already probably almost done. So, we're going to get Assassin's Creed 4 this fall. Will it be good? I don't know. I'll reserve my judgment until I play it, but having one a year is really starting to get burnt out, and I really wasn't excited for the game at all when they started showing the trailer, because I'm like, I played this so much every year, I need a break from fucking Assassin's Creed, if anything. Alright, and then, let me see here. Oh yeah, so they even showed 2 trailers. That's what I meant to say. I forgot to even mention. First it was like a CGI cinematic trailer, then they said here's one using the game's actual graphical engine, but it proceeded to still not be any real gameplay. But it just kept going on and on and on and on, and you're like, okay, I get it, it's Assassin's Creed 4, it's coming. So then the trailer went on, and then they went to the simulated gameplay where it went on, and you're like, motherfucker, would you idiots just please...
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it!
And finally they did. They finally stopped fucking playing Assassin's Creed 4 trailers. I was like, thank God, get on to another fucking game. Alright, so the next thing they did, they announced 2 new games in the Trials series. Now, I've never played the Trials games, so I don't know too much about them. However, they did actually announce 2 new games. First, Trials Fusion, which is the newest version of Trials. It's going to be for the next-gen consoles. And then it's going to be Trials Frontier for mobile devices. And it was funny because they showed no gameplay whatsoever of Trials Fusion, but they did show gameplay of Trials Frontier. So what I'm guessing is what that means is that Trials Frontier is probably going to come out before Trials Fusion. That's just my guess. So 2 new Trials games coming out. That's some news. And then the absolute... oh my god. The final game that they presented... It was funny because the way that they presented it was very similar to the way that they presented Watch Dogs last year. First they presented a premise, the trailer that was the premise for the game. Then they actually showed gameplay of the game, just like Watch Dogs. But the premise thing that they were talking about was so fucking long-winded. They were like, in 2001, there was a simulation run to see if an epidemic virus spread across the United States, what would happen. On day 1, this happened. On day 2, the power went out. On day 3, the president took a ripping shit. On day 4, fucking all Starbucks closed, and then hell broke loose because no one could get their fucking coffee. On day 5, Miley Cyrus actually had a hairdo that wasn't preposterous. And it just kept going on and on. It literally was like 10 minutes of elaboration on what this game was going to be, and you were like, shut the fuck up and just show me what the fucking game is. I'm tired of the build-up. So then they start the gameplay, and the gameplay starts, and it literally takes like 100 years. The slowest panning camera I've ever seen in my life. It's like panning the roof of the place. Oh, look, the top floor. It's a window. It's a brick. It's a pigeon taking a shit on a fucking windowsill. It's another window. It's the side of the building. It's the next floor. It's the next floor. Like, oh my god, just get to the fucking gameplay. Stop drawing it out so much. It's so frustrating, okay? So then finally they get to the gameplay, and they announce this is going to be an open-world cooperative role-playing game, but it is an action-based third-person shooter at the same time. The premise of the game is if a virus did go across the globe and basically cause mass chaos, there would be little groups called divisions who would be set out to stop the chaos and basically try to uphold order. Incidentally, this is a story written by Tom Clancy, so it has an interesting premise. What preceded was, first of all, some of the best graphics I think I've ever seen in a video game. Like, it looked photorealistic. It actually looked like real New York City. Like, a lot of these games, oh, it's Liberty City or whatever. No, this looked exactly like New York City to the point where the police cars have the NYPD logo on them. They went and looked out into Manhattan, and it looked photorealistic. So in that regard, it was really amazing. The gameplay, I don't know. The gameplay itself, to me, kind of looked like a generic third-person shooter. I don't know. Again, I reserve judgment until we see more about it. But they really, I don't think, did much with the gameplay to blow you away. If anything, what they were focusing on was showing you that it was a co-op aspect of the game, because the main character guy, who you were in the shoes of, was actually playing with some girl who they were chatting. They had simulated voice chat going on during the gameplay. And then, oh, here we go. Are you ready? A guy flies up with one of those unmanned devices, those unmanned like little hover devices with guns, and he actually does a really big assist. He flies in and he spots all the enemies, and then he shoots them, okay? But guess what they were using to control that? Ooh, smart glass! Oh, yes! More fucking smart glass and fucking integration into these video games. So, basically, if you don't own a smart pad or a tablet or a pad, a fucking anything that can use smart glass, you get, like, not the whole gameplay experience. So you gotta run out and buy yourself an iPad or a fucking Windows tablet or whatever so you can get all the features of these new games. I'm so tired of this. It's so fucking stupid. These people love to fucking integrate shit that doesn't belong in games. You don't need a fucking tablet to play the video game. But what they're showing you is that, yes, you can have the capability of interacting with the Smart Glass app if you want to. Really stupid, but it's in there. So it shows the guys basically going this division, going into this police station, clearing it out, and then all of a sudden, when you think the demo's going to end, they fire a flare, which I guess means that someone's coming to pick them up in a helicopter. All of a sudden, another group of players show up out of nowhere, and they realize, oh, this is PvP. People can drop in and drop out and actually challenge each other in PvP during the course of this open world game. So it's an interesting premise, but I'm kind of on the fence about it. And the reason I say that is even though the game looked amazing graphically and it has interesting, unique things to it, I've seen too many of these third-person shooters lately just become generic crap. They just, they have an interesting premise, and then when the game actually comes out, it's boring, it's repetitive. Take a look at Fuse just a few weeks ago. The game looked amazing, then you go to play it, and you're bored to fucking tears. Is this game going to be more of the same? Oh, there's enemies at the police station. Go to the police station, clear it of enemies, you're done. Oh, there's enemies on the bridge. Go to the bridge, clear it of enemies, you're done. Is it going to be the same wash, rinse, repeat, boring shit? Or will the game actually have variety to the gameplay that will actually make you think that it's something different and feel like it's entertaining? And that's going to be the question that Ubisoft or however you say it is going to have to answer and prove in the coming year or so when it comes out. They didn't really announce a release date for it, which was a little bit unfortunate. It would have been nice to know at least roughly when this thing's coming out. The other weird thing about it was that the people were playing it on PS4, and you could tell because you could see they were holding a Sony branded controller. It had the Sony buttons, but the light on the controller that they were using was like an amber. And I didn't know that the PS4 controller could even glow different colors. So far, we've only seen it glow blue. So apparently, kind of similarly to the PS Move, the ball that can be like pink, yellow, blue, green. Apparently, the PS4 controller is going to have the same capability, which it was the first time we ever seen anything like that. I was like, whoa, I didn't know that that was the case, but that's pretty neat to see what color it was glowing. And that was pretty much it. And the thing is, the press conference lasted an hour and almost 20 minutes. And really, when you think about it, what games did they really announce besides Mighty Quest for Epic Loot, which they really didn't show any gameplay of, besides a few other little silly things like the Rabbids TV show, The Crew, which they showed extended gameplay of, but really I didn't get how that was any different than other racing games besides the cooperative aspect of it. And The Division, which they, again, the gameplay kind of looked like generic third-person shooter, I'll have to judge for myself. I really wasn't blown away at this conference. I wasn't really like, wow, this is great. Like last year they had Watch Dogs, they had a couple other things that really impressed me. And the fact that the games that are coming out soon, like Splinter Cell Blacklist, didn't even show any fucking gameplay. Like, that was terrible. I think that was a horrible mistake. Here's a last chance. In 2 months, your game's coming out. Start pushing it. Instead, they just pan the camera back and forth across the fucking stage and not really showing any gameplay at all. Really dumb. So, I'll be honest with everyone, didn't really like the press conference. I thought that it was way too drawn out. Some of the games that they showed gameplay of, they showed way too much. Other games where you would like to see gameplay, they showed none. Most of the stuff that they did show ended up being pre-rendered CGI or cutscenes. And yet again, following along the same vein as EA earlier today, they say, oh, now we're going to show you gameplay, and it's not real gameplay. It's them fucking with the game engine to show you stuff. Like in Assassin's Creed 4, they show this guy fighting, but it's not the gameplay that you're going to be doing. It's just some cinematic bullshit that they're doing with the game engine. I want to see real gameplay. So I did appreciate that at least for The Division, they did show the gameplay, but it didn't really show enough to see how unique that game's going to be. I am looking forward to learn more about the game in the future, and I guess we're going to have to see what exactly comes of it. So, alright, so that is it for the Ubisoft, however the fuck you pronounce it, press conference. And the good news was, no Toby Turner. He didn't ruin it. We got to focus just on the games. Overall, for the press conference, I at least got to give it some points for not having Toby Turner back. But besides that, I'd have to say that the games that were presented really weren't exactly presented in the right way, besides, I'd say, maybe The Division. And I was a little disappointed. I'm actually going to give the Ubisoft press conference a 2 out of 5. I don't think that it was very good. It was too drawn out. It wasn't well paced. Like the EA press conference earlier today, okay, they went from game to game to game, and each game got about equal time. This one, it was just like, some games got massive amounts of time, you got bored. Some games that you wanted to see stuff didn't get enough time. I don't think it was a well-done press conference, but we did get some critical information on some upcoming games, which is good. 2 out of 5 for Ubisoft. Okay, so thank you for watching my live reaction stream and recap stream of the Ubisoft press conference. There's one more to go today on Monday. It's the Sony press conference, so I will be back to cover that one as well. As soon as that press conference ends, I'll be live streaming this and then obviously recording it subsequently to YouTube. So, hope to see you then. Thanks a lot, everyone, and I'll see you later for more coverage of E3 this week here on Twitch and also here on DSPGaming. Peace.